Hey, this is Troy Erickson from Email Secrets and the Secrets of Scale podcast. I'm back with another student interview with Daniel, who is coming in all the way from Pakistan to teach us a little bit about what he's learned with email copywriting and his journey so far. How's it going, Daniel?
It's going great, man. How about you?
Awesome. Yeah, I can't complain at all. So, um, for those people watching from like around the world, you're in Pakistan. How did you
Yeah.
discover email and copywriting and this whole industry?
Uh, I think my journey started with reading the book The Education of Millionaire by Michael Elizabeth. Like in that book, he basically shows the steps that you need to get it good at selling, marketing, etc. And at the end, he gives the links to all these people's email list to go subscribe to them. I think I got on one of those lists. So kind of like roamed around, got on an SEO list, and bought my first SEO program, and that was a pretty expensive one. Kind of loaned money from someone, and that epically failed. So I just realized that SEO is not from me, and switched a lot of stuff, and then finally decided on copywriting because I figured that it has been here for the last 100 years and will remain here for the next 100 years or so. So yeah, that's my short intro.
Perfect. And so you're a doctor
Yeah,
and you discovered this copywriting thing. And it
yeah.
seems like you work a lot of hours as a doctor. So is your goal with copywriting just to have a little extra side income? Or have you always had an interest in working online? Or how did
Uh,
you, what was your desire to start?
my desire to start was to get rich. Like basically, I figured that I can only make so much as a doctor in the army. So I thought I should do something, and because of my time limits, I thought that on the online path is the best way to go. So that's how I kind of like got started in the whole online space.
Gotcha. So how did you close your first client despite working so many hours at your main job?
uh, the first client I closed was when I was a student in MBBS, and at that time I didn't know anything. And basically there was this SEO group, and there was this post where someone was like promoting a software, and they wanted email sequences written for them. So I just wrote the I just, like, no one else was kind of like going for it, and I just approached the guy. I had some prior conversation with him, and he just told me, "Sure, write these for me," and I said, "Sure, let's do it." The easiest close ever.
Yeah, that's awesome. A lot of people don't realize that like sometimes just getting a client is finding somebody who's raising their hand and just saying, "Hey, I'll do it," and they're like, "Okay." So,
Yeah,
good
exactly.
job on that. So after your first client, like, how did you feel? Did you feel like, "Wow, this whole thing might be possible"?
Yeah, I felt elated and happy. To put the things in perspective, at that time I was earning about $150 per month because I was a student back then, and the currency rates over here. And that client was for, I think, 1,000 or 1.5 K per month. So you can basically imagine it was like a 10 times boost in my whole income.
That's amazing. So, honestly, it is. So since how long ago was that, by the way?
It was like 2 to 3 years ago.
Oh, wow,
Like
that's awesome.
like like I had the whole like I was coming up and along. I was like in my third or fourth year of medical studies, and basically I am in the army as well. So I had this whole contract that I have to go to military school at the end of my education. So I kind of like decided to go there and had to quit copywriting for like 8 to 10 months. So I had to kind of like start all over again at the in 2019 when Corona was at its peak.
Right, right. Wow. So did you use that time in 2019 to get more clients, or like how many clients have you worked with in the last 2 or 3 years?
In the last since 2019, to be honest, I haven't like my whole focus when I just got out of the military camp. Like Corona was going on, I was a doctor, and I had a very hectic schedule of 36 to 48 hours in the hospital. Spent all that. So what I did was, to be honest, I couldn't work with the client at that time. So what I did was just focus on training, copy education, reading books, all that stuff, staying in touch with all the online community, and to be honest, that worked in a backwards advantage for me. Like I was out there not pitching anyone, just building connections, making friends with people. And when the whole thing kind of like settled down about 4 to 5 months ago, by the time I joined your group, like that time I got out of the hospital into the whole field area, and I had a lot of time in my hand, and I had a lot of prior built up connections as well. So that was like a boost in the whole thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you basically you did a really good job of like not just doing nothing and like going out there and saying, you know, I'm going to use this time and just study and learn. And hopefully email secrets was a big part of that. Um,
Yeah, email secrets is like has changed my life. Like I remember I joined your 1 year coaching, and then you kind of like told me that you're going to do the whole lifetime thing. And to be honest, at that time I couldn't even afford the lifetime thing. I kind of like, it was I guess for $800-900, and I was like like my credit card limit cannot even support $500 at that time. So I just told you that how about I just do the whole 400 thing now, and you were very gracious enough with that. And so I joined, and I made a lot of connections with your group, and especially the part where you post the whole job boards plus the teachings as well, because the entire focus prior was on writing copy. And you need to kind of like specialize, think of email is a different game as compared to sales letters or BSLs. So the whole group helped a lot. Like
Perfect.
in Go
What
ahead.
is the number one thing that you've learned?
The number one thing I've learned is that from the group, it's that you have to be a giving person. Like I have seen you, Dom, Michael. Like they are all the time in the group. They are giving away critiques, feedbacks, and the like. You can ask any question over there, and you're going to get an answer. Like I have had a lot of one-on-one chats with Dom as well, and with you as well, and all of you have been very gracious with your time.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And it goes both ways, right? So it's
Yeah,
like we are trying to be gracious with our time. And
yeah,
you as a freelancer, you know, when there's clients that have questions, if you can show them like, hey, I know the answer, I know how to help you, and you can prove it to them, that's how you get clients. So it sounds like you're doing that, which is awesome.
yeah.
And if you don't mind sharing, so it sounds like just a couple of years ago, you're making like $150 a month as a student, and then you're working full
Mhm.
time as a doctor. What are you bringing in with email and copywriting right now after just a couple of years?
Uh, I'll give you a perspective. My income from my doctor's job is more like $350-400 per month. In July, in July I was making nothing from the whole online thing. In August, my income went to 1.5k. September it was 3k. October it was 3k, and the last November was more like 4.55k. So yeah, it's been going up.
That's awesome. I love to see the growth too. And I could imagine, especially since your clients are paying in dollars, that makes a huge
Yeah,
difference.
exactly.
Well,
That's the best thing.
yeah, that's perfect. So I'm super happy to hear that. I love
Yeah.
that you're in the group. I love that you're networking, and I think you're going to continue to grow and keep going as you have. And this is almost like a side hustle. So do you plan on having this be your main thing one day, or do you like the
Yeah,
email?
my plan is to basically spend the next year just getting my reps in, working on my copy job. Like I was on the Alan's call last time, and he basically told us that you need to put the reps in. And my whole plan is to put the reps in, and then basically start my own offer or something along those lines.
Perfect. Well, thank you for sharing that. So
Yeah,
for anybody who's watching, if you are like, you know what, that's really cool, I kind of want to be part of this whole thing that Daniel's in, that Troy's in, the links are below. At the same time, if you're a business owner, Daniel's been doing really well, and there's a reason for that because he writes good copy. So you can reach out to him as well. But anyway, thank you all for watching, and Daniel, thank you for coming on here, and I'll see
thanks,
everyone next time.
thanks for having me. Bye.
Take care.